Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead Aherne. Today's top stories: nursing home residents, frontline healthcare workers and those over 70 will be the first to receive the COVID-19 vaccine here. More than €31,000 been raised for a Waterford family hit by a double tragedy. And in sport, a former All-Star says Waterford have every chance heading into Sunday's All-Ireland final. The Health Minister has announced nursing home residents, frontline healthcare workers and those over 70 will be the first in line for the COVID-19 vaccine. It comes as history is made in the UK as people have started receiving the Pfizer-BioNTech jab, as Stephanie Rowan reports.
We're still waiting for approval for the rollout of any vaccine, but the Health Minister's revealed who'll be first in line to get it. Those over the age of 65 in long-term care facilities will be top of the list. This is followed by frontline healthcare workers in contact with patients and then people over the age of 70. Following that will be other healthcare workers, those aged between 65 and 69 with medical conditions, and key workers, which is yet to be defined. Teachers and factory workers are further down the list. The vaccine will be free. Minister Stephen Donnelly says a COVID-19 vaccine offers a beacon of hope, but is warning we can't become complacent.
We can't let our guard down because the vaccine is coming. In fact, what the Chief Medical Officer and his team are saying to me is it's as important that the vaccine is at a low level in January if and when we begin to roll out the vaccine. So that's something we've just all got to keep in mind for the next few weeks.
It comes as the first doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine have been rolled out in the UK from early this morning. Our government's reiterated it will be the first week in January at the earliest before it arrives here.
A shop in Waterford was forced to close last month due to a mice infestation. The Food Safety Authority of Ireland ordered Asian food markets at the Park Road Business Park in Waterford City to shut due to the outbreak. They were closed from the 6th to the 19th of November. An inspector from the HSE says that an active mice infestation was evident by rodent droppings being noticeable throughout the premises, including gnawed food packaging, droppings on shop shelving where foods were displayed for sale, and also in the wash hand basin in the butchery area. More than €31,000 has been raised so far for a Portlaw family hit by a double tragedy. Pamela Mansfield died in October, a short time after being diagnosed with a brain tumour. Just 2 days after her cancer diagnosis, her husband Matty suffered a cardiac arrest and currently requires constant care. His 15-year-old daughter Ava took to social media to tell of her family's plight. Her older sister Ciara spoke to Damien Tiernan on Daisha Today.
My mother got her diagnosis on the 10th of September. And on Saturday, the 12th of September, he suffered cardiac arrest. And he had a couple of bouts of the defibrillator. And he was then brought to University Hospital Waterford and remained on a life support machine for a couple of days.
Vulnerable children and families face long delays in getting a child protection and welfare service in the South East. In a new report, the Health Watchdog says waiting lists in Waterford and Wexford need improvement. HICWA says many children and families don't get a prompt service when they needed it. It says a high number of staff vacancies are impacting on the service, including 10 vacant social work posts. A spokesperson for TUSLA, the Child and Family Agency, says overall they were found to have good levels of compliance with the standards assessed. They say they're committed to making their child protection and welfare services even stronger. The EU's chief Brexit negotiator says patience is needed ahead of the final stages of talks over a trade deal. The British Prime Minister will go to Brussels this week after a phone call with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen failed to produce a breakthrough. Here's our political correspondent Sean Defoe.
The Brexit trade talks have stalled over the last 48 hours, with time running out to reach a deal that can be put in place by the end of the year. Taoiseach Micheál Martin has said the meeting of EU leaders later this week is looking increasingly important.
And what is important is that every effort is made to avoid a no deal. It will be very challenging. It is very difficult, particularly on the level playing field issue.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will travel to Brussels tomorrow to meet European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. He still hopes something can get done.
You've got to be optimistic. You've got to believe that there's the power of sweet reason to get this thing over the line. But I've got to tell you, it's looking very, very difficult at the moment.
While there's a mood in Leinster House that some of this is theatrics, as put forward by Labour leader Alan Kelly.
Look, it's down to the last a bit of drama that the British Prime Minister always needs to have.
Fisheries, the level playing field and governance remain the outstanding issues, and a deal looks further away now than it did at the weekend. Sean Defoe, Leinster House.
The IDA is investing approximately €11 million in an advanced technology building in Waterford. The state agency responsible for attracting foreign investment in Ireland is spending $22 million on two buildings in Waterford and Limerick. The advanced building solutions are designed to attract firms from a range of sectors looking to come here. In a statement to WLR News, the IDA says planning applications have been lodged. A previous development in Waterford is now occupied by Airgen Opco. The CEO of a Waterford taxi company says they have been encouraging drivers and passengers to wear face coverings since July. A new regulation making masks compulsory has been signed by the Health Minister. Eric O'Brien is from Rapid Cabs. He says the last thing their drivers want is to be out of work now.
If you take the busier time that we're in now at the moment, if a driver did contract COVID-19, that they would be out of work for 2 weeks. And essentially, at the moment, it's 2 weeks is all we have in December, really, that's going to be busy for. So it would be detrimental to their income as well as their health.
A Waterford man who says he owes his life to the RNLI has appealed to people to support their Christmas appeal. The RNLI has seen a drop in income as traditional fundraising activities had to be cancelled due to the pandemic. Michael Power from Tramore was swimming at the Gillamine in January when he got into serious difficulty.
People noticed that I was in difficulties and they phoned the RNLI. So by the time the RNLI came, I got hypothermia and I passed out. So I really owe my life to the RNLI, the crew of the RNLI. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today, because when they arrived, I was unconscious. They carried out CPR and they actually brought me back to life. I was transferred by helicopter to hospital. So I really owe my life to RNLI.
Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the build-up to Sunday's All-Ireland final begins in earnest as the WLR Club Daoise 2020 All-Ireland final preview takes place. Kieran O'Connor, Damien Tiernan and a hurling panel of Brendan Cummins, TJ Ryan, Dan Shanahan and Ken McGrath will be live on WLR, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram for expert analysis. It's a free event and donations are being sought to help Club Daoise help our Waterford teams. These Daoise supporters spoke to WLR Sport at Welsh Park.
Absolutely can't wait for it. It's something we really need in this county now, and hopefully we can do it now on Sunday.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. It's great and the team are brilliant and doing so well, and we just hope they go all the way.
So we'll just watch it at home, like with four lads and that. So we'll just put up a bit of flags and that around the house and that, and get all excited for it.
Make the smart play with Virgin Media. Check out their smart home packages at Virgin Media, George's Street, Waterford.
Sponsors of the sports news on WLR.
Starting with Gaelic Games, and former Waterford All-Star Ken McGrath says the Daoise have every chance heading into Sunday's unique All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship final against Limerick. Waterford are back in the decider for the first time since 2017 and will be aiming to avenge their Munster final defeat to the Shannon Siders last month. Ken McGrath says the team's playing with huge confidence.
Especially the second half against Kilkenny the last day, which to me was the best second half display I've ever seen from my Waterford team, you know. So they seem to be enjoying it. Obviously, with no fans at the game or no crowd, is very strange for all of us at home watching the games and getting up in the heat pots at home, because like sitting at home for a semi-final, where it's probably one of the strangest things I ever had to do, you know. But the players seem to be kind of just enjoying it and doing their jobs and getting on with it. And look, it's not affecting the matches, because some of the matches have been unbelievable.
Throwing at Croke Park is at 3:30 on Sunday. WLR will bring you the action live thanks to George Corbett Skoda, with commentary team Kieran O'Connor and Fergal Hartley. In soccer, Liverpool goalkeeper Caoimhín Kelleher has been given the backing of the club's number one, Alisson. Kelleher has been deputising while the Brazilian has been nursing a hamstring injury. The Cork native has impressed in the Champions League win against Ajax and last weekend's Premier League victory over Wolves. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists his side will be going out to beat RB Leipzig in their final Champions League group match tonight. The two clubs and Paris Saint-Germain are all on 9 points with the French champions, facing an easier tie at home against Istanbul Başakşehir, who have nothing to play for. United only need 1 point from their match in Germany. In Group B, Chelsea host Krasnodar at Stamford Bridge, having already won their group, while second place Sevilla are already into the last 16 as they visit Rennes. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford.